Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, February 14th. We have all you need to know about Governor Tom Wolf's funding plans for Penn State, as well as details on a recent arrest in Centre County.
We also have more on a large research grant coming to Penn State, along with entertainment, sports, and weather.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Cameron Lobley.
And I'm Courtney McGinley. 21-year-old Albert Johnson awaits his preliminary hearing after being arrested last Friday. Johnson crashed his 2010 Mercedes-Benz along Interstate 80 in Snowshoe Township when police found him. He is charged in Centre County with one misdemeanor count of each resisting arrest, falsely incriminating another, a DUI, possession of marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. Johnson is also accused of attempted homicide in Staten Island, in which he used a knife to slash a man in the head, face, and hands back in February of 2020.
Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf recently unveiled a proposed 5% funding increase for Penn State. Governor Wolf announced the proposal at his annual budget address held last Tuesday. It comes as part of a $43.7 billion budget proposal, with top priorities in basic and higher education spending. In a press release, Penn State President Eric Barron thanked Governor Wolf for his, quote, strong commitment to public higher education in Pennsylvania. Barron is set to appear before legislators to discuss the funding proposal. Wolf's proposal is pending approval from the Pennsylvania General Assembly. If passed, this will be Penn State's first increase in funding since the 2019-2020 school year.
Cyrus Klinsberg, a 97-year-old State College resident, is donating $250,000 to Penn State's Shavers Creek. The Environmental Center in Petersburg will use the donation to help create a new aviary. Klinsberg honors his late wife Vera with this debt of gratitude to Penn State. The couple enjoyed spending their time doing many cross-country and international trips to go bird watching. Shavers Creek Director Mark McLaughlin says that the Klinsberg Aviary will give the public the ability to form a connection with nature and Penn State students the ability to be a part of their mission.
Penn State researchers will soon be receiving a $2 million grant to help fund muscle loss prevention research. The project, headed by principal investigator Gustavo Nader, is seeking ways to prevent muscle degradation. Nader saying it can potentially help people stay healthy and active as they age. The research is also looking to prevent muscle loss caused by cancer and certain cancer treatments like chemotherapy. The grant is being provided by the National Institutes of Health and will go toward finding molecular targets that will help promote muscle growth, which can then help with developing new treatments to support muscle building. Well, it's Valentine's Day, and the one thing we would love to see is some spring temperatures hitting State College. Mike Marandino has the details in this week's weather report coming after the break.
It's going to be another chilly night here tonight in State College. As you can see, mostly clear skies with a low of 14 degrees tonight with west-northwest winds coming at 5 to 10 miles an hour, so you're going to want to bundle up if you're heading out tonight. Now, looking at your out-the-door forecast, at 9 a.m., it's going to be about 18 degrees and mostly sunny, but the wind chill, it's going to make it feel like the single digits, so you're really going to want to bundle up, put on the hats and the gloves if you're going outside. Around noon time, it's going to be in the upper 20s, but again, with that wind chill, it's going to feel like the upper teens, so you're going to want to really bundle up, even though it's going to be really sunny outside. And looking at 5 p.m., it's going to be almost at the freezing mark with still sunny skies, but again with that wind chill, it's going to feel about low 20s. So again, not too warm, but it's going to be good having those sunny skies. So enjoy the sunny weather if you're heading out tomorrow on your way to class. And looking at this weekend, no precipitation in the forecast, no rain, no snow, so that's good news. It's going to be a nice weekend with mostly sunny skies, so nice clear skies. Enjoy that weather. Above freezing temperatures, but it is going to be windy on Friday and Saturday, so you're going to want to maybe bundle up again with that wind chill factor coming in. It may feel a little bit colder than it actually is. And looking at the 7-day forecast, on Monday it's going to be about 24 degrees, partly cloudy. And Tuesday, it's going to be above freezing, about mid-upper 30s maybe, partly cloudy as well. And Wednesday, it's going to be mostly cloudy, mid-upper 40s. And then Thursday is going to be a rain event. Thursday night, it's going to rain all day and all night. So if you have to travel, definitely bring that umbrella with you and bring that jacket with you as well. And then looking at Friday, back to mostly sunny skies, low mid-30s. And coming up this weekend, it's going to be partly cloudy skies with high 30s, maybe low mid-40s. And then on Sunday, also sunny skies, maybe upper 40s as well. And that's it for your forecast. Now, that's all from me. Coming up next, Carly Knowlton has the latest stories on Penn State sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Carly Knowlton with your sports update. Sunday's Super Bowl was one to remember. The Los Angeles Rams defeated the Cincinnati Bengals last night in Super Bowl 56 with a final score of 23-20. A lot of thanks went to star Rams like wide receiver Cooper Kupp and defensive tackle Aaron Donald. Wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. suffered a left knee injury and was ruled out for the remainder of the game in the third quarter. Kupp made the go-ahead touchdown grab from quarterback Matthew Stafford with just under 90 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Donald threw Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow to a ground on a 4th and 1, forcing Burrow's last chance pass to fall incomplete. This was the Rams' first win in the Super Bowl since the 1999 season and the first win under coach Sean McVay. McVay is also the youngest coach to ever win a Super Bowl at the age 36. This was the Bengals' first time in the Super Bowl since 1988. The T. Waterton Foundation released its first Aware Watch list for 2022, and among that list was Penn State sophomore Kristen O'Neill. As a lacrosse midfielder, she earned her spot by being recognized as one of the most outstanding players in men's and women's lacrosse. O'Neill will be able to play on the field for the first time this season when they play at Drexel University on Wednesday, February 16th. Now turning onto a different Penn State sport, Penn State's men's and ice hockey will have their last home 2-game series this coming Friday and Saturday. The Nittany Lions will take on Minnesota in the Pegula Ice Arena, while Thon 2022 will be going on across the street at the Bryce Jordan Center. Penn State is currently 14-15-1 on the season and 5-14-1-2 in the Big Ten. The Golden Gophers currently sit second in the Big Ten with a 19-11 record on the season and 14-6 in the conference. Friday night's game will be February 18th at 6:30 p.m. and Saturday's game will be the 19th at 6 p.m. That's all for sports. After the break, Kylie Waller will bring you the latest from the world of entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Kylie Waller with your entertainment update. Get ready to sing, dance, and party. Some of your favorite furry monsters from Sesame Street are coming to the Bryce Jordan Center this spring. Elmo, Cookie Monster, and many others will be teaching a little bit about diversity, kindness, and friendship. Elmo himself has been a recent TikTok sensation with his impressive rap skills and continuous fighting with the world's most hated rock, Rocco. This little furry monster will definitely be a fan favorite here at Penn State on March 11th and 12th. SPA has been incredibly popular with their recent set list of concerts and other special guest events for students. The release of Season 2 of the hit show Euphoria has also drawn many students to this organization with their recent Q&A with actress Hunter Schafer and concert with Dominic Fike. Both performers recently have been heavily featured in the show. Tickets for these events usually sell out extremely quickly and have incredible turnouts. You can check out SPA's social media pages to keep up with all their announcements about upcoming events. Earlier this month, Kylie Jenner broke the internet by announcing the birth of her second child with American rapper and songwriter Travis Scott. The media personality surprised us all with a simple black and white photo of her holding hands with her newborn child, Wolf. The caption features a blue heart and the date of birth, which was coincidentally February 2nd, 2022. This comes just one day after her firstborn daughter Stormy's birthday on February 1st. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, Olivia Ostnamer will be speaking to Professor Eleanor Schiff about her experience working in the White House and how that ties into her courses here at Penn State. Stay tuned.
Welcome to PSN News. I'm Olivia Ostnamer, and tonight I have the pleasure of speaking to Professor Schiff, who specializes in American politics. Professor Schiff teaches American Public Policy and American Presidency at Penn State. She's previously worked in the White House, the U.S. Department of Education, and the Senate. Thank you for joining us here tonight, Professor. I'd love to hear more about your time in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Olivia. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome. So I was wondering, a lot of Americans will never have the chance to be able to go inside of the prestigious White House and let alone work there. So can you tell me about your experience working there and what'd you do there?
Well, I did a lot of different things. The White House, many people don't realize, is an actual kind of compound. So there's the actual White House and the West Wing, which was built during Teddy Roosevelt's time, which is where the president's senior advisors are. And then there's a huge, beautiful office building called the Old Executive Office Building, which is a Victorian style building that used to hold what was then called the Department of War and other secretary departments. And that's where a lot of the White House staff works. There's about 5,000 people or so that work there, many of whom don't ever get to go to the West Wing. I had the honor and the privilege, as we used to say, it's always an honor and a privilege to serve the president. I worked in the Domestic Policy Council, and I was one of the first group of people to be hired in the new Bush administration in early 2001. I started in February of 2001, and I worked really as just a very junior staffer. I was 23 years old, not much older than you are right now, and I never thought of myself working in politics, living alone, working at the center of the free world. So I did a lot of work on healthcare research. A big topic at the time was the Patient's Bill of Rights. And so I did a lot of research on genetic discrimination and a lot of other things. And I did a lot of grunt work too. I did a lot of copying. I did a lot of answering the phones. I got a lot of coffee for a lot of people.
Wow.
And then after September 11th, I had the opportunity to move over to the West Wing, and I worked on the second floor of the West Wing for 3.5 years.
So you also worked in the Senate. Can you tell me about working in the Senate and, describe an everyday life at, the Capitol?
Sure. I loved working in the Senate, and I always encourage my students to work in government in some capacity if they can, and it is so fun to work on the inside of government, and you're seeing what you're doing being reported in the paper the next day. So I had the honor of working for somebody named Bill Frist, who was then the junior senator from Tennessee, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee originally. All senators and members of the House of Representatives want to hire their own constituents, particularly at the junior staff level. So the people answering the phones, if you're calling up from Memphis, Tennessee, you're not going to want to be talking to somebody who's got a thick New York accent. You're going to want to hear a little Southern twang for the people answering the phones. That makes people feel more connected to their representatives. So I worked, that was my first job out of college, and I worked my way up, really honestly answering the phones, doing data entry, and there's a lot of turnover in those offices, and so there's a chance to work your way up pretty quickly. And so Bill Frist is a heart and lung transplant surgeon. He worked at Vanderbilt, and he decided later in his life to become a politician. But his major focus, he of course later became Senate Majority Leader, but that was after I was already at the White House. But his major focus was on healthcare. And so I was lucky enough to learn some healthcare policy. I got to attend a lot of hearings. One of my jobs also was being in charge of constituent services, because that's very, very important for members of the House and Senate to show their constituents that they can get you a Capitol tour or get you a tour of the FBI, or if you're lucky enough to get tickets for the White House. And so I did a lot of interfacing with many good people in Tennessee, and I gave a really good Capitol tour.
Right. That's really a unique experience coming out of college and working in the Senate. I mean, that's basically unbelievable. So that's a really amazing accomplishment. So.
Well, you could do it too.
Maybe, hopefully one day. So you also worked for the U.S. Department of Education.
I did.
Did working for the U.S. Department of Education kind of expand your passion for teaching? And, what roles and duties did you partake in during that job?
So right after G.W. Bush was elected for his second term, and this is very typical of presidents. They often reshuffle their cabinet. And so the woman for whom I was working in the Domestic Policy Council was nominated to be Secretary of Education.
Right.
And so I went with her in that role. She established what was called the Secretary of Education's Commission on the Future of Higher Education, which was a little bit controversial, but I got to work as a staff member on that. And so I learned a lot more about higher ed policy, right, and financial aid and accreditation and access and affordability issues. And we held hearings across the country in different locations from California to Boston about issues affecting students and higher ed. And so my second career has been in working in higher ed and more recently as a college professor. And I really try in my classrooms to connect my experiences working in government to some of the things we study. And I think students generally really like it.
Right. So how have you connected some of your experiences, you know, in DC to teaching here at Penn State?
Sure. Well, I have taught an Intro to American class in different colleges, and one theory we talk about is representation theory for how a member of the House or Senate might represent their constituents. And I like to tell a story about Elian Gonzalez, who is a young boy from Cuba, whose mother sadly drowned on the way over from Cuba trying to, get away from and flee the Castro. And Senator Frist at the time didn't know if he supported keeping the child with his relatives in Florida or if he should be returned back to his father in Cuba. And so there's a couple different theories about representation. One's called the delegate model, right, of a representation where constituents will delegate to their representative in order to represent them in Washington. And the other one is this idea that you do what you are supposed to do. You do whatever your constituents want you to do. And so Senator Frist took cues from constituents in Tennessee and who were very clear with him that they wanted the child returned to his father. And so I try and illuminate I think sometimes of the more theoretical aspects of American politics where I can to some real life stories in the classroom.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I really appreciate you coming here to talk with me. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. Coming up next, Cameron and Courtney have the latest news from across the nation. Demonstrators against the COVID-19 mandates are blocking the roadway at the Ambassador Bridge border crossing in Ontario, Canada. The Freedom Convoy attracts those resisting mask mandates, lockdowns, and restrictions on gatherings. $323 million worth of goods cross the border each day, making it North America's busiest international border. International companies such as Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis are facing production issues. Ottawa police say that there have been 25 arrests and more than 1,500 tickets issued for traffic, noise, and other violations.
Thursday saw New York's indoor mask mandate expire for businesses statewide. The move comes as other states, including New Jersey and California, look to make similar lifts to their own regulations. However, the mandate is remaining in place for New York schools and will be reassessed come early March. The drop is not mandatory for businesses and local governments, who will still have the option to enforce their own COVID-19 mandates. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said the agency still recommends mask wearing for indoors in areas of high or substantial transmission. In a news release, New York Governor Kathy Hochul thanked New Yorkers for acting responsibly during the winter Omicron surge, also noting that, quote, "While we're moving in the right direction, this pandemic isn't over," end quote.
American shoppers face high prices in food, electricity, and shelter as inflation rose 7.5% for the month of January, exceeding the 40-year high set in December. Many families are looking for ways to achieve financial peace without concern. Orange juice increased 12 cents with eggs in close second, up 11 cents. Additionally, Amazon, Disney, Mattel, and Starbucks recently announced a likely increase in price for 2022. Biden states that forecasters project inflation easing by the end of 2022.
The royal family announced Thursday that Prince Charles tested positive for COVID-19 and has since moved into self-isolation. The announcement comes after the 73-year-old Prince of Wales attended a reception at London's British Museum Wednesday evening. While there, he was accompanied by his wife Camilla and met with several people, including Britain's Treasury Chief Rishi Sunak. Queen Elizabeth II is also currently being monitored for the virus after Charles met with her 2 days before, although the 95-year-old monarch has reportedly not been experiencing symptoms. This is Charles' second time contracting the virus after having previously tested positive in the first wave of the pandemic.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a great night and stay safe, Penn State.